When we hear the word calmness, it is very easy to confuse it with indifference or weakness. It may seem as if a calm person simply does not get involved, does not fight, and does not stand up for themselves. But if we look deeper, especially through the ideas of Carl Jung, it becomes clear that true calmness is not an escape from life. It is the result of inner strength that no longer needs constant defense. Jung wrote a lot about how a person lives in two worlds at once, the outer world and the inner world. And while the outer world constantly demands reactions, the inner world demands stability. Most people live as if the center of their personality is placed outside. Someone says a harsh word and the mood is ruined. Something does not go according to plan and anxiety appears. Someone doubts you and anger or the desire to prove yourself appears. This does not happen because people are bad or weak. It happens because their psychic energy constantly flows into the outer world. A calm person is built differently. Their center is not outside but inside. And it is important to understand that this is not a natural gift and not a special personality type. Jung spoke about the process of individuation, a slow and sometimes painful path toward oneself. In books like Psychological Types and the Ego and the Unconscious, he returned again and again to the idea that a mature personality stops completely identifying with emotions, roles, and the expectations of others. When a person becomes calm, it almost always means that they have already faced chaos within themselves. They have seen their fears, their impulses, their shadow, and did not run away from it. Jung called the shadow those parts of the personality that we do not want to admit: aggression, envy, weakness, and the need for control. Most people spend enormous amounts of energy trying not to see this in themselves. And that is why they react so sharply to the outer world. Any word feels like pressing a hidden button. A calm person is calm not because they have no impulses but because they know them. They are not afraid of their own reactions and therefore do not feel forced to express them immediately. Between stimulus and response there appears a pause, and in that pause there is strength. Jung believed that awareness begins exactly at the moment when a person stops being completely captured by the unconscious. From the outside it may seem that such a person is losing. They do not argue, they do not prove, and they do not raise their voice. But if you look at the long term, this person often wins because their decisions are not dictated by momentary emotions. Their actions grow from a deeper understanding of the situation and of themselves, and this creates clarity that cannot be faked. Calmness also reduces the power that others have over you. Jung said that everything that strongly triggers us points to something unconscious within us. When a person stops reacting to every external irritation, they begin to return their own psychic energy. They no longer give it away to every event, every opinion, and every conflict. And here a paradox appears. Calm people rarely try to win. They do not need to prove superiority. But because of this they often end up winning. They see further and hear more. They are not blinded by the need to defend their ego immediately. Their strength is in stability, not aggression. Jung would say that this is a sign of moving toward wholeness, when a person stops being torn between the mask and the true self, when external noise no longer drowns out the inner voice. Then calmness stops being a strategy and becomes a natural state, not a pose or a technique but the result of deep inner work that cannot be rushed and cannot be faked. If we continue this idea, another important truth appears. Calmness is often confused with control. It seems as if a calm person holds everything tightly, calculates everything, and suppresses everything. But Jung warned about the danger of excessive control. Suppressed emotions do not disappear. They move into the unconscious and over time begin to control a person from within. True calmness is born not from suppression but from acceptance. A person who has walked a certain inner path no longer fights themselves. They do not waste energy trying to be perfect or to match expectations. That is why they do not react violently to the outer world. They are not protecting a fragile image of themselves. Their inner self is already stable enough, and this stability can be felt. The calmness of such people is not tense or cold but alive. There is presence in it. Jung wrote that the less a person understands themselves, the more they tend to project. We assign our fears, desires, and aggression to others, and then the world seems hostile, unfair, and irritating. A calm person gradually removes these projections. They often catch themselves thinking, "This is in me, not in them." At that moment, the external conflict loses its destructive power. It no longer takes full control. It is interesting that calmness often appears after inner crises, not before them but after. Jung believed crises are necessary stages of development when old supports collapse and old answers no longer work, forcing a person to look inward. If a person does not escape from this moment and does not fill the emptiness with noise and distractions, a quiet but strong inner center slowly forms. From the outside, it may look like a calm person does nothing, but in reality they simply do less that is unnecessary. They do not waste words, do not enter meaningless arguments, and do not react to every provocation, and this saves enormous energy. Jung emphasized that psychic energy is limited. When it is not wasted on constant emotional reactions, it becomes available for thinking, creativity, and intuition. There is another important detail that is rarely mentioned. Calmness makes a person harder to manipulate. When you are easy to provoke, you are easy to control. It only takes touching the right trigger. A calm person does not allow this access. Not because they are closed, but because they are not automatic. They choose how to respond. This choice again and again gives them an advantage, not externally but internally. Jung saw this as a sign of maturity. A mature personality does not constantly seek approval. They can tolerate loneliness, misunderstanding, and silence. This quality is often seen as strength. People feel when someone near them does not cling, demand, or constantly prove themselves. This creates trust and respect even without words. In the end, calmness is not about character or temperament. It is about a relationship with yourself and your inner life. When a person stops running away from themselves, the outer world stops feeling so threatening. Then it becomes clear why calm people often win. They simply do not fight battles that do not matter. They choose the ones that truly matter, and most of those battles happen inside. Jung also noticed something subtle. Calmness changes not only reactions but the perception of time itself. An impulsive person lives in urgency, needing to respond immediately, defend immediately, and prove immediately. In this state, everything feels urgent. But a calm person lives differently. They feel that not everything must be solved right now, and this gives them a huge advantage. Jung believed the unconscious does not live in hurry. It is slow, deep, and cyclical. When a person constantly reacts, they disconnect from this deeper layer. Calmness reconnects them to a deeper rhythm of life. They begin to notice subtle details and meanings. They hear not only words but what stands behind them. That is why calm people often seem wiser even when they speak little. Their words are not random. They are not thrown out of emotion but born from inner agreement with themselves. Jung wrote that when consciousness and the unconscious are in dialogue, there appears a feeling of inner certainty, not moral or social but deeply personal. A person who feels this does not need to be loud. It is important to understand that calmness does not make a person passive. This is one of the biggest myths. A calm person can be very decisive. Their decisiveness is not chaotic or emotional but precise. They act when action is truly necessary, not just to release tension. Jung believed many actions people take are not real choices but emotional releases. Calmness means a person has learned to hold tension without running away from it or projecting it onto others. From this state, a completely different quality of action is born. Over time, this begins to affect all areas of life. In relationships, a calm person does not cling or manipulate. They do not confuse love with anxiety. In work they do not burn out from every stress. They see processes instead of only crises. In conflicts they do not try to destroy the opponent but try to understand what is truly happening. Often that understanding itself becomes victory. Jung emphasized that what influences us most are not events but our unconscious reactions to them. When reactions become conscious, events lose their destructive power. Calmness then stops being something you try to maintain. It becomes natural, like breathing, like balance in a body that no longer falls from every push. And perhaps most importantly, calmness attracts people not with noise or charisma but with depth. People intuitively feel those who rely on themselves. Near such people everything becomes quieter inside, and this feeling is rare. That is why calm people are often listened to even when they do not try to be heard. They are trusted even when they demand nothing. Jung would say this is the result of inner integration, when a person is no longer divided between who they appear to be and who they truly are. Then it becomes clear that calmness is not a survival strategy but a side effect of meeting yourself. And that is why it so often leads to victory, not loud or dramatic but deep and lasting, a victory that stays with a person for a long time.